as far as like appreciating the little things in life, it's not impossible, but it's like, okay, warm place to stay. Great. You know, a couple other things, job, money. Okay, that's it. I know it's more than some people have. I know it's more than I've had in the past, but here's what happened with my life. There's this whole structure I wanted to climb. And I was at the very bottom, meaning that I didn't even have the basic stuff. I didn't even have shelter or food. I was homeless and starving, right? So I went up. I went up a level. I got my shelter and my basic needs taken care of. And then stayed stuck at that spot and didn't move up at all. Didn't climb up at all for the last 10 years.
Alright. That's all I need you guys to hear. That's enough of this whining. So he's essentially admitting why he's in the position that he's in. He's admitting it. He's admitting that he's at the bottom. And he's remained there for the last 10 years and he hasn't done anything in the last 10 years. How in the hell do you expect to compete in today's market when this is how you're behaving? You know, when this is how you deal with your problems. You just stay there. You've stagnated for 10 years. There are other guys out there, they're willing to do what it takes to get what they want. You're not. And that's one thing that people have to realize. That's one thing that you have to realize, that what is the benchmark? What are people willing to do to get the result that they want? You see, this guy, he has that entitlement complex where he feels that I am entitled. I am entitled to a female. I'm entitled to reproduce my seed. No, that's not true. It's easier now to reproduce your seed than it was generations past, according to what the science says. You know, his ancestors had to fight to continue their genetic line so that he would come into existence. They had to fight. They had to fight to make sure that their genes are passed to the next generation. Is he doing that? Is he fighting? Is he trying? No, he's not even trying. He's not willing to try because this victim mentality is telling him, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. No, you're not a victim, you're just a loser. I said this in my video, Victims vs. Losers. We have to know the difference between a victim and a loser. This man right here you're looking at is a loser. He's not willing to compete. He's not willing to say, you know what, I'm going to do what it takes. And it's not through any, it's not that he cannot try. He can, but he's not willing to do it. You know, this is a guy who's filled with bad habits. This is a guy who's lazy. This is a guy who just doesn't have what it takes. You know, other men out there, will do what they need to do. They will do it. They will do it. It means so much to you, but yet you're not willing to go out there and make the necessary changes and sacrifices. See, the thing is with this guy is that he's unhappy. He's suffering. Well, you're going to suffer anyway, so you might as well suffer doing something that's going to actually benefit you in the future, as opposed to suffering because you're too much of a lazy. And the reality of these guys is that it's not just laziness, they're scared, they're cowards. This guy is terrified. He's terrified of competition. He's terrified of failure. That's the thing with him. He's terrified of it. Goes on in the later on this video say, I don't want to be around other men. I don't want to hang around with the bros. Well, first of all, I don't think any decent guys want to hang around with you. We've seen the guys that you're hanging around with. You know, the scum of society. That's who you're around, and you won't even deny that because you've said that yourself. You know, but that's the truth. That's the truth about this guy. He's very low value, and he refuses to say, you know what, I'm willing to increase my value. He talks about, oh, all this stuff, it means nothing to me. Yeah, the only thing that means something to me is a woman. Well, guess what? It means something to women. Your possessions mean something to women. What you do for a living means something to women. So if you don't want to admit that it means something to women, and admit that you being a low value male on the market, okay, you being a low value male on the market means that you don't get to call the shots. You can't call the shots as a low value male on the market. You want to become successful? You want to be in the driving seat? Then go out and become successful. Then you're gonna have at least some pick of the litter. But you being in the position that you're in, you have to play with their game to a certain degree. You're not willing to do that either. So at the end of the day, there's no hope for this guy. He's gonna die in the position that he's in. He's gonna die in the position that he's in right now because at the end of the day, it's a competition. It is a competition. You're competing. You're competing. Who can get the women? Who can get the money? Who can get the resources? Who can get the power? You're failing on all fronts. You know? And it's not always the guy with the money, with the resources that's gonna get the females. You know? But guys who are successful, they're not making videos like this. Guys who are successful, they're doing a hell of a lot better than you. The normies, another thing. You want to talk about how much you despise and how much you hate normies, but yet you want a normie woman. You want to be with a normie, you know. So you despise normies because you can't get one. You can't get a normie female. It's nobody's fault that you can't get what you desire. You have to understand that life is suffering for most people. You think I don't suffer? Everybody suffers. But you suffer in order to get to the next level. See, this guy is willing to suffer for nothing because he's going to suffer forever and he's never going to get what he wants because he's not willing to put the work in. This entitlement complex, this entitlement that he has to go. Has to go. Has to absolutely go. Somebody has to put it to an end. His immaturity. I mean, this guy is 35 years old. 35. You know what he says in this video? He's like, I just want a woman. And he said, I just want a bitch to watch movies with. 35 years old, and this is mentality. I want a bitch to watch movies with. What are you, 14? I mean, it's just pathetic, man. I mean, there's nothing attractive about this guy. He goes on to say, oh, women reject me because of my looks. Even if you detach his looks, is there anything attractive about him? Is there anything attractive about him? He says also in the video, oh, I can't relate to anyone. Well, if you can't relate to anyone, then how are you going to get dates? Are you stupid? Women are not just dating the guy who picks up the trash from the street. I mean, she might date him, but he has to have something. There has to be a reason. They're not just dating guys for no reason. There's no reason for a woman to date you. You know, because the biggest way a loser like you could get a woman is by being relatable, actually. Because there are losers who get women, but those women are dating those guys because they come across as relatable. They can relate to those guys, they can get on with those guys. You have too many baggage, you have too many problems, and you project that. You walk around with that scowl on your face. Look at it, what we just see now, that scowl, that permanent scowl. You and that idiot Monday FA. Same. Walk around with that scowl on your face and then say, oh, women give me the meanest looks. You're giving women mean looks. You don't even understand your own facial expressions. What are you talking about? Look at this guy's videos. Look at his facial expressions. He's always got this scowl on his face. What are you so angry about? You're angry about the fact that you ain't done nothing in 10 years. Well, guess what, bitch? That's your fault. That's your fault. That's all I got to say in this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you are informed when I upload a new video. I'm out of here.